Ben Edgelana, Jordan Jenkins.
Yeah.
Anthony Johnson, Wesley Johnson, Derek Jones, Bryson Keaton, Javarius Lemon, Darren Lee, Jordan Leggett, Corey Lamonier, Gabe Marks, Jalen Marshall, Josh Martin, Ronald Martin, Ross Martin, Lorenzo Maldon. I mean,
yes.
Has anyone heard, what do you have, like Maldon, 5 guys?
Yeah, you know him because of his colorful dreads, don't you, right, Mark? His green dreads?
No. I remember from last year.
He went.
Yeah, he did pretty good. He was from Louisville.
And,
and then Marcus May, Josh McCown, we know.
Marcus May, we just drafted him.
You're giving Dave a graduation list.
Second round.
Dexter McDougal.
Yeah.
Elijah McGuire. Does that rhyme? Elijah McGuire?
Elijah
I guess
McGuire.
it could. Call, you're on Sports Talk. Does anyone know who these guys are? I mean, this is the Jets roster. There's a reason why Woody Johnson is going to England.
Yeah.
And that's actually the greatest thing ever that Todd Bowles could ever want, because they just put in Woody's brother. What's Woody's brother's name? He's got like some ordinary name. It's like Michael or something. It's Woody Johnson's brother is now going to be in charge of the team. Do you think this guy is going to want to fire the head coach? No, he's like, no, don't screw up. Just do what it is, whatever you do, and do it, okay? Good, okay. I'm glad we had this talk, that kind of stuff. Because
I saw a crazy meme that said Steve Kerr had the nerve to name his son Nick.
Oh,
yeah.
That's shades of Chipper Jones naming his daughter Shay.
Yeah, you know
Chris
what I mean?
Johnson.
Chris Johnson, yeah.
That's like the running back.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
he's on the roster.
He is?
Well, I think there is a Chris Johnson. No, there's a
Remember the running
Wesley
back on the
Johnson and
Titans?
Anthony Johnson. Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
He was great. He had the 2,000-yard year.
Yeah.
Call, you're on Sports Talk. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey there. Who's this?
Stefano.
Wow, there's a blast from the past. Stefano from Wantagh. What's up, my friend?
I heard your name in the Jets roster.
Yes.
Sounds very promising.
Exactly. You know, I could have been reading anything. That could be
I thought it was the Wantagh High School football team.
Yeah, exactly. That could be the high school graduate. You know, I could be reading a newspaper of who graduated from Plainview JFK last week. You know,
Exactly.
It's like, you know, the names will be a little different, but you know, it's
Something
crazy.
But I think they're going for Darnell, aren't they?
Oh, the quarterback at USC.
For
Yeah.
USC, who's supposed to be the next big.
Well, there's him. There's the
quarterback.
UCLA guy too. Josh Rosen is his name. I think he's the UCLA guy. There's some good
Yeah,
quarterbacks
but
there
I
next
think
year.
the USC guy is supposed to be better. But yeah, Rosen's up there too.
Yeah,
Top five.
there's some really good quarterbacks out there for next year. So I don't know.
So what's going on there, Christopher?
Nothing, my friend. You know, I was in the pizza place last week and I ran into Andrew DeMarco of all people.
Very nice.
So yeah.
That's a nice little name.
Yeah.
I saw. I bumped into Adam Rubin maybe 3 weeks ago.
Where'd you run into him?
So,
New York Tech? Or?
in the press box.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
At Citi Field. Oh, nice.
Said hello.
Mark's wearing a UMass shirt here.
Yeah.
Those games never existed. The whole UMass thing has been wiped clean.
Also, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Memphis.
No,
I
I'm
would
sorry,
never-
Memphis.
Wiped clean. Yeah.
If he's not running away, I don't know why you would ever leave that position there.
That's right.
Because you're set for life there.
Kentucky is just like Alabama football. You're
Right.
reloading every year. Guys come to you, and you say, need 'em, got 'em, need 'em. They come to you, and you just say, next, kiss my ring kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know why you'd ever leave. Rick Pitino spends every night saying, why did I leave Kentucky? Why did I leave Kentucky?
Yeah.
Tubby Smith
He
says,
does
why
a
did I
good
leave
job
Kentucky?
in Louisville.
Yeah, well, he's got a good job, but Louisville is not Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
University
They're
of
little
Kentucky.
brothers.
It's-
They're little
yeah.
brothers.
Come to the Knicks and speak at St. Dom's
Yeah.
graduation.
Well, Patino's already got his problems too, to where they're going to vacate everything, but not the championships and stuff, but they're going to vacate everything else.
What about
That was for the recruiting.
Yeah, and it was his 23-year-old graduate assistant that did all the.
Right.
It wasn't him. No, it was my 23-year-old. Because you know what? It's one thing I've learned that 23-year-old graduate assistants have a lot of power at programs.
Yeah.
Just like the locker room guy for the Patriots.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of exactly deflating the balls. Yeah.
Jim Boeheim, coach from Syracuse, right?
Yep.
He was supposed to appeal his suspension.
No, but they do like the first 9 games, where it's like the beginning of the season when they're playing
The
St.
first 9
Leo's.
conference games
Yeah,
they did last year, I think
it's like
it
when they're
was.
playing.
No, but they didn't take away any of his wins?
No.
Oh, okay,
And in
okay.
fact, he's decided. He always had the guy on his staff who was going to be his heir apparent, the guy that they said was going to inherit the team, be the head coach. Boeheim said, "You know what? I'm sticking around." And that guy went and took another job.
He
last
left,
year.
right?
Yeah,
Where did he
left.
go again?
I thought it was like Texas. It was somewhere in the Midwest, I thought, or in the South. It
was a decent job.
It was a decent job, but it was
Right.
one of those things where this guy was groomed to be Mr. Syracuse. And at the end of the day, he's like, nah. And Boeheim is like, and Boeheim's got the younger wife. Boeheim's got the wife who's my age now. And like, it's like, he's like, yeah, I'm a young guy now. So, Boeheim's an original Big East coach. When you think about all that, when the Big East was started, he's the one coach who remains. That was,
He's the last guy left.
Yeah.
So he's just listen. What he did for that program, he can say he can go whenever.
And he was a Syracuse guy. He went to Syracuse. He played for Syracuse.
Right.
He's Mr. Syracuse. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So now, do you think Phil Jackson being fired is it's not going to make a difference? James Dolan has to be fired. Unfortunately,
Yeah, you can't fire the owner.
Phil Jackson. I mean, listen. At least he had a plan. A lot of people.
This is
Noah Deal was a terrible thing.
Yeah, Phil Jackson. You're right. Phil Jackson had a plan. The problem is, like, if you're Phil Jackson, and I don't know that doesn't really matter, but now and I'm looking at younger guys in this room here, an entire generation of people are going to look at Phil Jackson as an abject failure, as opposed to before. All pun intended. He was on the Mount Rushmore of coaches because he's from South Dakota, and so is Mount Rushmore. But before he had how many rings did he have in the end?
Oh, you mean
11?
the guy who coached with only good players, and when the team went bad, he left the team?
Right. But nobody knows that. Nobody will know that in 5 years.
He got 11.
He's gonna
11
Tomjanovich?
coaching and 2 playing, right?
Yeah.
11 coaching, 2 playing.
And 2 playing.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, but in fairness to that statement, who wins in this league without having good players? Nobody.
Right.
There's no coaches. Think about every coach that's won a championship. It's been LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, probably over the last 20 years. I mean, maybe.
But
don't forget about
to their fairness, though,
the Spurs.
Shaq has had a bad season in his bad teams in his career. He's played with. Kobe has had bad teams that he's played with in his career.
No,
but they win.
When did Shaq really?
Because remember
Shaq
'95 they made the finals, right, with the Magic.
Yeah,
and then they never went to the finals for a while.
Well, there are guys, and that's to say what that Elway did with some bad Broncos team. There are guys who get to the finals having no business being there, just that they willed the team. They were that good. That was LeBron with the Cavaliers. Right? That team had no business being there.
Well, wasn't Shaq basically always on a playoff team? Shaq was always on a...
No, in the late 90s.
Maybe the only time wasn't in Phoenix.
No,
but
Phoenix. What about his later years in Orlando?
I think he was in Orlando for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
He was always
in
the
finals
playoffs in Orlando. Then he went to the Lakers. They always made the playoffs.
Then he went to the Heat. Then he went to the Cavs. Then he went to the Celtics, I believe.
Yeah,
he was always really in the playoffs. He didn't really have one.
Well, the Magic were an expansion team, and then he was very early on with the team. Yeah. So I don't know what the playoffs were like then. They had Nick Anderson
at the
Meadowlands. Yeah.
And do they ever? Is the NBA ever going to learn with these contracts? Or I mean, this guy's making $35 million. There's like 6 men making $20 million. It's getting stupid.
The Mike Conley Jr. deal never taught them anything. When that guy became the highest paid, it's like that guy doesn't even deserve to even be top 70 of players, Right. And number 2, when ESPN or ABC or whomever gives them $1 billion, they don't care. It's like, and the NBA is a league that realizes the players are the league, so the share. I think it's like 52-48 or whatever. I mean, the players make more money percentage-wise of the pie than the owners do.
I have a feeling that money's not going to be around next time the TV contract.
Oh no!
Especially now.
Look what happened to ESPN. ESPN. How many jobs did that contract cost them? I mean, all those guys say cut.
So I think what's going to happen eventually is maybe when that contract is up, the league will have to stop spending as much money.
Well, not only that, everything. And you guys know this far better than I do. Watching television is so different now than everyone is what they call it. They call it cutting the cord cutting. Right? You're not going to cable anymore. You'll watch it on your phone or on the laptop, or you'll do Netflix, or you'll do whatever. Right. Or I think Google's going into Facebook's going to have TV now, or whatever. So YouTube, I mean, it's going to be different.
Was Derek Carr's contract made him the highest paid in the NFL? Did it? Because I know they didn't make him the highest paid.
I thought it went. Did it make him the?
I think it was 150-something million, right?
By the way, it's not TV.
How many years?
It's advertising.
I think it was about 4 or 5 years.
And he was on a low contract too. He was.
It was his rookie contract.
Contract,
because he was drafted in the same draft as
Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack was the first pick. I think he was either the third or fourth pick for
Khalil Mack was the first pick?
The first pick? No, the first pick for the Raiders. So, but he was like the third pick in that same draft for the Raiders. So they came in the same time.
Carr was the second pick, and he was a second-round pick. I don't know if he was the third pick, and then for the Raiders, but I know he was a second-round pick.
No, that's what I meant, second-round pick. Sorry. Khalil Mack was the first-round pick, and Derek Carr was the second-round pick.
That's a good draft.
Yeah.
When you get your top defensive guy and your top offensive guy that you could build, around your. I think about Khalil Mack, Buffalo guy, right? I mean, that was the guy who went to. So it's not a football factor.
They didn't know if it could translate from the small program to NFL. I think he did all right.
Yeah.
And then they picked up Amari Cooper was like the next year. So they just been hitting it on the nail.
Because Al Davis is dead.
Yeah. So
no longer do they go for the biggest offensive lineman or the fastest wide receiver, which is what they always did.
Atlantic Beach is home.
Yeah.
Al Davis.
They really. Before I hang up, Cowboys. How do they do? How does the Irish do?
Well, you're a huge Cowboys.
And are the Mets out of the playoffs?
Speaking of your Wake Forest team, they will be making their first appearance ever at Notre Dame Stadium this year. By the way,
I thought they played there. Before,
I did too until I got my.
Maybe Notre Dame
tickets
went
the other
down.
day.
No, I'm pretty sure Wake Forest played there.
I'll have to check because I thought it said that.
I think we actually lost there. We actually got beat there by Wake Forest like 3 years ago when they were actually pretty good.
It's funny. You got to see how they did the football tickets this year for the first time ever. I got a slot on June 14th. They told me that I could go in at 11 o'clock on June 14th and pick my tickets for all the games. So I had to go.
So it's not a lottery this year.
It's not. Well, it is a lottery, but I'm officially, I'm in. But
you're moving on up. You're moving up on the booster list.
So the. It was you picked, and it was funny because I was picking. To me, I still go by the lowest seats to the field, and now they have tiered seats. So over here's like 125. Three different. There are three different game types of what you're paying for, and then different seats in the stands. And I like I like as close to the field as possible. So I was picking end zone, like second row, and that was the cheapest seats. I'm like, am I a moron? Because
you're in the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
in 2015.
I like being. They played Wake played Notre Dame.
Yeah.
15. Okay, so it's the second time they go. So I just like being closer to the field. It's like that's what I think is the way to do it.
That was the game.
Who are your options for home this year? Who's playing at? Who are they playing at home this year?
98-yard run.
It's this year. It's there's only the first weekend. There's two good games at home. But beyond that, that's about. They're playing Miami of Ohio at home.
Yes, my sister's school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They play Miami of Ohio at home.
Well, that's because the coach is the former coach
at that conference, the MAC conference.
Right there, you go. Right.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger. Wally Zerbiak, and my favorite, Alec Martinez.
Oh, there you go.
Do you guys feel like other players shouldn't talk about other players' contracts when it gets done? Like, for example, right? So Derek Carr got the $125 million, $70 million guarantees, 25 every year. They asked Jared Goff his opinion on it, and he said that's great for him, and it opened up windows for guys.
Why would they ask him?
Jared Goff hasn't done anything yet.
Yeah,
why do you go to a guy
TMZ?
like him
to
ask him? You know what I mean? A question like that.
I mean,
he's the next up-and-coming quarterback.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. That's true, but
TMZ.
The answer is because quarterbacks have agents who only look at other quarterbacks' contracts, and that's the answer.
Well, they always talking about somebody else's contract.
And even when you get the franchise tag and when you get the transition tag, one is like the average of the top 5, one's like the average of the top 7 or something like that.
Yeah,
so that's why it matters. And Goff was number 1 overall, right?
Yeah, number 1 overall.
So he's got a
Harvey Levin.
Yeah, I feel like Harvey Levin.
Kirk Cousins might get franchise tagged again. I heard so.
Well, that brings us to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I might get franchise tagged.
There's a guy. And he only has until like July 10th or something.
To where he's 17th, I think they pushed it.
To where he's got to sign.
Yeah,
and the word is, he's like, I wouldn't sign with these blankety blank, because in taking him in the same draft as RG3, was that a compliment or was that an insult? To me, it was an insult because I'm the same. Yeah, he was a good quarterback, and you take me in the same draft as the guy you just sent your entire, every draft pick you have to get. I think that's an insult because I'm never going to see the light of day if you're giving. They gave a whole draft plus another first round pick the next year to the Rams, right? Yes. Which the Rams did nothing with.
Nothing.
And I mean, to me, that's one of those things where only because RG3 wound up falling flat on his face a year or two later. is why Kirk Cousins got to play. Beyond that, Kirk Cousins was never going to see anything. He was just going to squander a couple of years being a backup to RG3. So, and then they never paid him the money. They never trusted him. And, if I'm Kirk Cousins, I'm like, now Kirk Cousins has to play because he only has so much, a year doing nothing. Sure, you get no hitting on your body, but also you get a year older, and that's not good in this game. It's like.
But if he's franchised, what does that mean he's making?
24, 25 million, I think.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that bad.
No, it's nice. It's nice. It's very nice.